I just want to ask one question really quick. We all have goals, right? I'm going to be real with y'all. The camera messed up, so we starting over. So, I mean, hey, praise God anyway. Y'all gonna get this message. So we all have goals. They answered, they said they had goals. Some people want to be singers, entrepreneurs, writers, performers, artists, producers, entertainers, authors, singers, it was everything. And so basically, now we're going back to reality. You have to do things to get to those goals. For example, say your goal is, some people have, your goal is to lose 20 pounds. So obviously, I would say, if you have a bad diet, poor training habits, things of that nature, you couldn't possibly expect results. Like, by the time you set that time for you to finish, and you've been, like, when you go into the weight room or whatever, you're procrastinating for like 20 minutes out of the hour, and then you're taking breaks every other 4 or 5 minutes. Like, you're barely, poor training habits. And then when it comes down to eating, you haven't changed anything. By the time you get to that expected point, you can't really expect results, right? And so, if you're a singer, for example, if you want to be a singer, and you don't, rehearse, practice, etc., keep your voice right, be careful about the, make sure you drink a lot of fluids, things like that or whatever. You can't possibly expect the day you have a performance and you've been drinking sodas and, alcohol, for example, like things like that, and then you gotta sing. You can't really expect to do very well when you haven't taken care of your voice. And so, midterms, if you're studying, you're say for example, we all have those places where we know if we go, we're going to get distracted. And if we go, stay in our room or go to the library, etc., then we'll be able to study. But if you go somewhere to study, you're going to get distracted, and then the test comes and you're not ready, you can't really expect to have gotten that much from studying because of the fact you obviously weren't readily preparing yourself. And so basically, I want to talk about where we are right now, Bible study. We come here for what?
Better ourselves.
Okay, to better ourselves. To worship. To educate.
To get a better understanding.
To get better understanding. So, just like the gym, or the other things, you wouldn't want to finish with no real results, right? Like, you wouldn't want to come here, and then by the time you leave, you have no real results. Like, you really didn't get anything out of it. Oh, that was a nice message, but by the time it's over with, you don't even remember what it was about. You didn't better yourself. You didn't, you weren't educated. You see what I'm saying? You weren't given the opportunity or the ability to worship in any form or fashion. And so, results take time, patience, and persistence. But persistently doing little to nothing isn't going to get you anywhere either. A lot of times we say, okay, with different things, okay, I'm going to be patient, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to be persistent, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes we can persistently do nothing. Like, a lot of people talk about, well, I made it through my storm. But it's not always sometimes when you make it through the storm, but what you did in the storm. You see what I'm saying? Because of the fact, I can be real with y'all. There was a situation I was going through with somebody, and it was a relationship, and I had to be patient. Relationships take patience. And, we were saying, we were going to be patient, we weren't going to try to rush to the relationship, things of that nature, to get to know each other first. And so we knew each other for probably about, 6 months maybe. And then I think we made it official. But the problem with that was that even throughout that whole 6 months, we were being patient, but we were patiently doing nothing.
meaning we really weren't taking enough time to get to know each other. You know, we would talk and stuff, we would do stuff, but we weren't really getting to know each other, like, you know, having those serious talks or really, you know, one-on-one stuff. We were just, you know, chilling. And so we were basically patiently doing nothing. And so you can also persistently do nothing. You can go to church every day, Bible study every Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? And you can be persistent as ever. And at the same time, get no results. There are 70-year-old, 80-year-old, 60-year-old people in the church who have gone to church all their life. And you still honestly can't really tell, like, see much of a difference in their lifestyle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would think after going to church for like 30, 40 years, you would have like some type of spiritual power about yourself. And yet, they've been going that long, and there's really not much results, is basically what I'm saying. And so, at the same time, it takes time, patience, and persistence, but you gotta make sure you're not persistently doing nothing. And the reason why I'm saying all this is because I care about you guys who are here, and anybody else watching, and everybody who's not here. I do care extremely about you guys. And so with that being said, I want you guys to get better. And with getting better, this particular Bible study and the ones on from it, and it's not like I didn't mean to do this in the other Bible studies, but specifically this one, I'm going to ask y'all some questions, and I'm going to bring some things up that might seem like hard questions to answer at first. And the whole point of it is because of the fact, when you guys leave here, I want you guys to leave with results. I want you guys to continually come to this Bible study, and then by, you know, end of the semester, next year, nothing at all has changed. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's been a very slight change. You know, okay, I decided to stop cussing, but that's it. You see what I'm saying? Like, we make these little minor changes, but it's not really significant. So I want you guys to really have some results. So when hard questions are asked and the truth is revealed, just know it's because I want us all to finish with results, rather than just waste all our, you know, time being persistent, but no real improvement. So I just wanted to start off by saying that, just to kind of segue into what this Bible study is going to be about, and some of the things I'm going to ask y'all, and really hope that y'all, you know, take to mind, think about, and better ourselves. So I have a question for everybody. Once again, it's interactive. It's not just me talking. Who can tell me right now, what is a disciple?
A follower of Jesus.
Since we got so many people, raise your hand, please. And I ask y'all to raise my hand for y'all. Thank you.
A disciplined individual under Jesus.
A disciplined individual under Jesus. I like that. Okay, I heard a couple of y'all. Who else? Like 3 of y'all.
Jarius?
Somebody's a follower of Jesus.
A disciple
That was Jerry. That was Jerry.
A disciple is a servant of God to obey His laws and to follow pretty much every word. Thus we fall, we still, you know, overcome because we are doing His will. So that's pretty much what a disciple is.
I like that. Does anybody else have anything to add? I honestly I liked what you said, but I really want to hear what y'all have to say. Even if it's like 5 words.
You said something. Say it.
I said a disciple is a follower of Jesus.
Okay. You can say the same thing. I just want to make sure that we're all on one accord. Okay, cool.
Yeah, in a sense, we are disciples because we're all aiming to reach where Jesus' word. We're achieving His goal pretty much. We're trying to get closer in a relationship with Him. So, in a sense, we are disciples.
Yeah. That's actually another point that I want to talk about. But first, I'm gonna stay on track this time. So, okay, we've gotten the different answers for what a disciple is. I just want to give you guys like a little backdrop about Jesus and the disciples. Basically, Jesus, 30 years old, comes on the scene. He finds these people. I can't tell you exactly what age he was when he found the disciples, but I'm assuming he's 33. He found these people and he told them to follow him. He went straight to him and said, "Follow me." And he said, "Come and I'll make you fishers of men." And so basically what Jesus was commanding the disciples to do, he basically, told them to follow him, and they did. Now, these people, I'm sure, had families, social lives, jobs, etc. You see what I'm saying? All, they had stuff to do. And they just gave all that up to follow Jesus. You see what I'm saying? And so they did that. They followed Jesus, throughout his life, where he went, ate, where he ate, etc. Thus forth and so on. And so basically, that's what his disciples did. And the really interesting thing about it is, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but their simple obedience to the call of Jesus ended up changing the disciples' lives and ultimately the world. Their simple obedience, just saying, "Okay, I'm going to do it." Not making up 1,000 reasons why, or asking 20 questions. They just did it. And that simple obedience ended up changing their lives and ended up changing the world as well. So I believe that kind of goes back, if you guys remember a message from earlier, I was talking about how some of the most simple truths have some of the most significant meaning. Anybody remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The most simple truths have some of the most significant meanings. Basically, a lot of things, it was when we were talking about cliches, a lot of times, some of the most simple things in life have some of the most powerful meaning. And just like this, he said, "Follow me," and they did. It wasn't, there was no algebra, no equations, no philosophy about it. He just said, "Follow me," and they did. And so it just made me think, a lot of the things that we try to make difficult, if we would just simply be obedient, you see what I'm saying? Imagine what the outcome could have been. Or if we would have just simply listened, or simply did the right thing. You see what I'm saying? For example, and this is theoretical, but say you're in a financial aid office, and you really got to get your stuff together. And it's down to the last couple of days, and you see the little, and I don't know if anybody's ever done this, I do not advocate this, but they got the little list, and they call you by the list. And so it's the last day, it's almost 5 o'clock, I think that's when they close, and you see that your name is down here, so you decide to erase somebody else's name and write your name in. Now, it was, you lied, you did something wrong, but it was small, right? So how about they get, your name gets called, you get your stuff straight, but the very next day, they have first come, first served scholarship, and it's only for those, the people who get there first, obviously. And so the people who are still left on the list that it cut off at 5 o'clock and they had to come back the next day, you could have been one of them people. But because of the fact you made the little small little lie, you didn't get it. Just imagine the things that could happen if we did the right thing, if we hadn't did that lie. Who knows what could have been in store for us if we hadn't, made that wrong decision. You see what I'm saying? And so some of just even the simple things can have a lot of effect. Obedience isn't hard, we just make or allow it to be. One of the things I thought about, it was just the fact of the matter that a lot of times, people say, following the rules is hard, and, being a Christian is not the easiest thing. No, it's not the easiest thing. But in all honesty, it's like finding an answer. In a math equation, you see what I'm saying? Calculus 2, for example. My friend takes calculus 2, he says it's ridiculous. And getting to the answer is usually really difficult. The difference about Christianity and just the life itself is actually very simple. The answer itself is very simple. It's just getting to the answer that we make hard. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Me personally, one of the things that I thought about, and I summed the answer to, I'm not going to say don't quote me, but I'll just put it out there. I put the answer to life in 3 words. Rely on God. Period. There's this company, there's a yogurt company. It's called Sweet Frog. Y'all ever heard of that? You heard of it? Sweet Frog? It's a yogurt thing, and it's a lot of them in Virginia, and they have them in different places. But it's actually a Christian-based yogurt company, and the reason why is because the word frog actually is an acronym. It's fully rely on God. And so those 3 words, really simple. You know, if I just told you rely on God, it would be really simple. But it's just the doing it that seems hard. And so, like I said, just imagine the outcomes that could happen if we were obedient. And so he said, when I asked about disciple, he said what it was. The next question is, so what does it mean to be a disciple?
Not only hearers, but doers. I'm sorry. Not only being hearers, but doers of the word.
I thought you called me. My hand's not up.
Oh, it's not that? Okay. Do you have a rebuttal?
What's the question?
What does it mean to be a disciple of Jesus?
Follower of Jesus Christ. I'm one of his followers.
Okay. That's perfect. All right. Once again, we're talking about simplicity. The answer is simple, but it's life-changing, actually. You see, the word disciple actually refers to the word student or apprentice. You can look it up. The word disciple refers to the word student or apprentice. But the difference about it is, in its most basic form, the word disciple means follower. But you have to take that word literally. See, what the disciples did, they didn't just, as a student, student teacher kind of thing or whatever. It's different, but this is more so, they went where Jesus went, they ate where he ate, and they acted the way he acted. That's the whole point of being a disciple. It's literally to follow, to imitate. You see what I'm saying? Like little kids, like they imitate, what they see monkey do. It's literally the same type of principle. And that's what a disciple is a person who imitates Christ. You do what he did. You obviously can't go where he went, but you do what he did, and you can't do what he ate either. But you're literally following after his example. And so, like I said, but the first disciples actually knew how to follow. They, like I said, they went everywhere he went, and they did everything he did. Now, the thing about it is, a disciple, at the end of the day, you're supposed to look like your teacher. You see what I'm saying? Whoever you are a disciple of, and the question is, are you a disciple of Jesus? You're supposed to look like your teacher. You're supposed to act the way he acted, do the things he did. And so, Luke 6 and 40. If somebody could just turn to that and read it. Luke 6 and 40.
Luke 6.
Yeah, 6th chapter, 40 verse. 40 verse.
6th chapter.
Yeah, the 40th verse.
The disciple is not above master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou the mote?
Oh, you can stop it for me. You good. Everyone read the ESV version. A disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. So if that's the case, then, when we're fully trained, and I can honestly tell you I'm not fully trained yet, but we're supposed to be like our teacher. And so this is crazy. It's a thing that I feel like a lot of people miss. To be a disciple of Christ, or scratch that, to be a Christian. Because in fact, a lot of people say, when you're signing in your little things or whatever, on Facebook, you're doing your little basic info, and you're signing these different things, and it says religious views, political views, Democrat, Republican, Tea Party, etc. And for religious views, about every person on Facebook who put Christian there. And if you're not on Facebook, every person who calls himself a Christian. who says that they're a Christian, it means you actually have to be like Christ. Believe it or not. And that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people miss because of the fact it's easy to identify with Christ. But it's a totally different thing to follow Christ. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of times people identify with him by calling themselves a Christian. It's just like identifying with America. You call yourself an American. And so what we do a lot of times is we identify ourselves with Christ. And we kind of put the whole follow thing on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so many people calling themselves Christians, but the difference is, you're not only asking to be identified, because obviously God said if you, I think you know what I'm talking about, Jeremiah. If you deny me in front of others.
If you deny me in front of your friends, I will deny you in front of my Father.
If you're ashamed of
She basically,
come on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I said that.
In front of people. He will deny him in front of his Father in heaven. So obviously, that comes along.
No,
There's
but
one-
who
there's-
says that?
There's one that says, if you're ashamed of me here on earth, or something like that. I'm not going to quote it wrong.
Don't stress
Take the camera off him, please. Let him get his thoughts together.
Don't stress yourself.
Yeah. She said what I was looking for. If you deny me in front of others, your friends, your family, etc., he'll deny you in front of his Father. So obviously that says that we have to identify ourselves with Christ. Christ does not want us to be ashamed of him. He wants us to identify with him. But at the same time, we have to follow. That's the difference. We have to follow Christ, not just identify. And that's what a lot of people are doing. I heard a poem, and at the end of it was a spoken word. But at the end of the spoken word, he said, "But to he who finds Christ, the truest love, he will never be the same." And that stuck with me. And we hear stuff like that all the time. To whoever, this is what he said. He said, whoever finds Christ, the truest love, he will never be the same. Whoever. And so it really stuck with me because it meant it didn't matter who you were. If you found Christ, you'd never be the same. And so then I just thought to myself, wait, but there's so many people out here who, say that, they're Christians, they say they found Christ, but you can't really see it. You can't really tell. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I love the Lord, I believe in Jesus, I'm a Christian. And yet, they have some of the worst attitudes. They go off on people all the time, cussing up a storm. But you'll see them in church on Sunday. You see what I'm saying? Or they'll have a cross in their house or the Bible sitting up on a little pedestal thing in their house. But you're looking at them and you're like, wait, hold up. Something's not weighing up. And so I was thinking, why is there so many people like that? And then it struck me. It's because they haven't found Christ yet. Because it said whoever finds him, they'll never be the same. So obviously that means there's supposed to be some type of change. But they never seem to show the change. And so I was thinking, and the answer just came to me, they haven't found Christ yet. Did you have a question?
No, I found
Oh.
it.
Go ahead, Jeremiah.
It's Luke 9:26. It says, this is the King James Version. For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory and his Father's and of the holy angels.
Amen.
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 Quit. Golf clap.
I can't do it. I got the camera right there. I can't go.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you about that later. But basically, like I said, they had not found Christ yet. And so the thing it's kind of like a lost found poster, you know, a wanted poster. You see the person, you see what I'm saying, or whatever, and you know who Christ is. You can say, you know, okay, oh yeah, I see them on campus all the time. I see that person all the time. But you don't really know who they are. So basically what we've done is just like that lost found poster. We can say, you know, we know who Christ is, or yeah, I heard of him. We identify with him. But we haven't actually found him yet. He's still on that lost found poster, just sitting there. And so the same with Christ, a lot of people are identifiers, but not followers. And you got something to say?
Yes, about identifying Christ. They're just doing their best to like identify by painting sculptures of Christ and drawing pictures just to show them what he may look like, and they will act like they see who he really is.
I see where you're coming from. That's a little bit different though. I know what you're talking about. That's kind of like what we were talking about in class today. But it is just a little bit different. It's more along the lines of just the fact that you say you're a Christian, but, and this goes into the next point, where are the results? And this is something very similar I think we can all identify with. Apple trees produce apples. Orange trees produce oranges. Grapevines produce grapes, etc., so on, so forth. It's not vice versa. You will not see an orange tree with an apple on it, and you won't see an orange tree with apple. I mean, an apple tree with an orange. And so, the difference about that is, Jesus said, you'll know a tree by the fruit it bears. He was talking as well about people. So, if you see somebody, and I'm going to just read the, oh, wow. Okay, y'all get ready to get your ears open because it's going to be a little bit. But it's not a lot. It's like 5 sentences. But basically he said, you'll know a tree by the fruit it bears. So therefore, when we say, you know, if somebody says they're one thing, you should be able to tell, like automatically, well maybe not automatically, but if you see this person enough times, you should be able to tell that there's something different about them, or at least that whatever they're portraying to be, that that's what they are. And so this is Matthew 7:15 through 20. I'll just ask y'all to turn to that, honestly, because you got like 5 verses to hear. So Matthew 7th chapter, 15th verse. And so this is basically like one of those verses that kind of lets you tell between whether or not somebody is really who they say they are. 7:15? Yeah, 7:15. I'm going to read it. But I just want y'all to, you know, because if I'm just reading it and y'all don't see it, it can like sometimes go over people's head. But it's not going to be, it's ESV, so it's not too hard to comprehend. Everybody is everybody there that was looking for it? Yeah.
Matthew chapter 7.
Verse 15. Okay. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from a thorn bush, or figs from thistles? So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus you will recognize them by their fruits. And that's it. So Jesus is basically saying, and these are, like I said, these are the words of Jesus. You should be able to tell whether or not somebody owns a fruit tree. I mean, an apple tree. Because that tree should bear apples. So if somebody says they're a Christian, you should be able to tell because they should be bearing fruit. You know what I'm saying? Fruit is the things, you know, the things we see, you know, in people. Their characteristics, the way they act, you know, the things they do. Are they the one to, you know, willingly do this? Or if they see somebody hurting, go ask them what's wrong. You know, different things like that or whatever. And so basically you should be able to tell.
I'm sorry.
And so,
I'm sorry.
we discussed the name after the message.
Who did?
I know. But basically, that better be Jesus playing.
Can I share one
Oh.
related passage?
Oh, okay.
Okay, Matthew 5 says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who's in heaven. So basically, it talks about being the salt of the earth and the light of the world, and letting our light shine in such a way that people see our good works and they really want God because of, they glorify God and they really want God because of what they see in us. So that's just another story.
That's actually very relevant because of the fact this week I thought about something and I told myself I was going to ask my grandfather about it. He's a pastor. One thing I thought about was on myself. I said to myself, if there's anybody who's looking at me and they feel as though like, and this isn't in any form or fashion trying to boast, but basically saying, I feel as though I'm doing, in the life that I'm living, I am, in some people's eyes, I am an example because of the fact I'm claiming to be a disciple, so I have to be an example for Christ. And so I was just thinking to myself, as a disciple of Christ, and just a person in general, how is it that I can maybe get people to, like for example, if they see me praying over my food, or they hear my conversation, how is it that I could get somebody to be swayed, not so much to look at me, but to be appealed to Christ, rather than just, oh, this young man, has really good, has a lot of wisdom, has a lot of knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Or this young man seems like he's really following Christ, or things like that, good morals. But how is it I can get that conversation to be less of, oh, this young man, and more of, wow, that's a lot like Christ. You see what I'm saying? And so with that, letting my light shine, I'm basically just trying to figure out myself if there's anything that I can do to improve myself, or maybe some prayer that I need to pray. Basically, so that in letting my light shine, people aren't looking at me, but more so thinking, that looks like Christ. Rather than, because I don't want people to feel as though it's something, yes, I do want to appeal to people so that I can appeal to Christ, but I don't want the focus to be on me. I would rather it be, okay, they take a couple seconds, think about what I'm doing, and then think about Christ, rather than just the whole thought in their head is, wow, that's an admirable person. And I feel like for all of us, that is something that we all want to strive to give the glory to God, because if it wasn't for Him, then we wouldn't even be doing what we're doing in the first place. We wouldn't be following God, if there wasn't, obviously. Makes sense. So therefore, that's something we should all strive for, is just to, when we're letting our light shine, make sure it's not us that people are seeing, but rather it's God that we're segueing them towards God rather than just ourselves. But back to the verse, you'll know people by their fruits. So basically, like I said, as a person who says they're a Christian, you should be able to see it. And so basically, to get back to the whole disciple thing. A disciple of Christ is a follower of Christ. And so therefore, there's certain things that you should obviously be able to tell. This person should look like the person that they're following. So if we want to call ourselves disciples, we have to figure that out. Do we look like the person we're following? And this is the great thing about it. A lot of times, when we think about discipleship, now that we have gotten the thought in our head, we always think about, oh, that's the job for the pastors and the evangelists and the people who go overseas and do, knocking on doors or whatever. That's their position in the church. Wrong. Christ's command was to all of us. go ye therefore and make disciples. That was for everybody. It was written right there, you know, in the red letters for whatever Jesus says. Go make disciples. Go ye into the nations and make disciples. That was for everybody, not just certain people in the church. And the thing about it is, that call is something we're all supposed to do. And I'm gonna, like I told you guys, this is actually gonna be an ongoing thing. This whole disciple thing, because of the fact, like I said, I want some results to come out of this. But as a disciple, and like I said, I'll go into detail later in a different Bible study. But as a disciple, our job is to make disciples. You see, the thing, a lot of people, and I don't know if this is just America's way of church, but a lot of times what we do in church is we have the pastor, we have the congregation, and that's it. More people come to the church, but we need more people going out of the church and going out into the places. And you see, the whole point of the discipleship thing is I disciple to you so that you can disciple somebody else. It's not supposed to be one person, the pastor to the congregation, the Bible study teacher to the people coming. That person is supposed to teach the other people well enough to where those people, now with the knowledge that they have gained, can go to somebody else and teach them, so that person can do the same. It's like a multiplication effect. I told you guys that book. Francis Chan, I'm going to give you a shout out. Multiply by Francis Chan. It's a great book. Francis Chan and Mark Bouvier. Can't pronounce his last name. But you'll definitely find it if you go to Francis Chan. Multiply. It's a great book. Check it out. And basically, like I was saying, that's the whole purpose of discipleship. It's I teach, so you can teach, so they can teach, so that other person can teach. You see what I'm saying? It's not just supposed to be a constant flowing, of information, knowledge to the congregation or the people, and then they just store it in themselves. It's kind of like, how when you have a gift, like somebody's birthday or whatever, or you just buy somebody a gift, and the gift you got them is gonna make them so happy, or it's just gonna be the best thing in the world, and you just can't wait to give that person that gift. Sometimes their birthday or isn't until it's not for 2 more days, so I can't give it to them right now. But you're just excited to give that person a gift. That's why you always hear the Bible referred to as the good news. Or you have good news, like I just got accepted into Oxford, or Harvard, or UNC Chapel Hill, or University of South Carolina's master program. You know what I'm saying? Like different things like that. Like you have this great news inside, and you just want to tell people. That's why you post it on Facebook, or Twitter, or Instagram. But that's how this is. That's why it's called the good news. It's this gift that we want to share to people because we think it's so great. And then when that person gets the gift, they can share it to somebody else. And then that person can share it to somebody else. So the whole purpose of this whole disciple thing is for you to get knowledge, and then when you finally have been, you're to the point where you are well-versed in it to tell somebody else about it. And you don't have to be super well-versed, but you do have to know what you're talking about. And be ready to answer at least some questions.
I was going to say, that's why the Bible tells stories, parables. So it goes with it,
Yeah, I got you. And so, basically, at the end of the day, that's really the whole point of this Bible study, actually, to be honest. The entire point of this Tuesday at 8 o'clock thing is so that you guys can go out and tell other people what you've learned. And so that's basically what I'm trying to help you guys with today. And so I have 3 questions that I wanted to ask. And like I said, you guys, the only way, I'm not going to say the only way you're going to be able to grow, but to speed up the process is you really got to be interactive. You have to be willing to answer these questions. And even if you don't answer these right now, I understand some people shy or whatever, but these questions are going to be thought-provoking. And so the thing that I want you guys to do, I really would like for you to answer them now, it's good when you can answer the question and then get feedback. And, you know, like back and forth type of thing, because then you learn, I'll learn, they'll learn, etc. So when I ask these questions, I just ask that you guys can please answer them and answer them truthfully. Because that's the only way, like I said, if you're exercising with a bad diet, you can't expect results. So if you're answering with a false answer, you can't expect to learn anything. And so, the first question, it deals with the whole identifying and following thing. Up to this point in your life, would you call yourself a follower of Jesus Christ?
Repeat the question again.
Up to this point in your life, today, you know, after everything that's been said, would you, and like I said, I know sometimes we don't want to answer things, but it's okay not to have all the answers, but at the same time, you got to start from somewhere. You have to start from somewhere. And so whether your answer is yes, maybe, a little bit, no, and I'll be honest with you, it's usually just a yes or a no. I mean, I can understand where a maybe might come into play sometimes, but it's usually a yes or a no. And if it's a no, I'll say honestly, the fact that you can say that's a no is awesome. I know we always hear the little things or whatever. Denial is the first, I mean, what you call it? When you like rehab, they always say acknowledging that you have a problem is the first step to, resolving that problem. And so, and this is not me trying to say that you all have a problem or anybody has a problem, but just it's kind of like a relating type of thing. So the fact that you can say, you can identify where you are.
It's self-observed.
Yeah, the fact that you can identify that if you are or are not is the first step to what we said, becoming better, getting closer, etc. Was that a hand? Okay, did you have a question too?
Yes, it's like this question, is it like for us individually or the whole group?
No, yes, it's individually. I'm going to ask the question one more time. And yeah, it's individual. Did you have something to say besides what the question was?
So we're not answering these out loud or anything?
Yeah, we are. That's why that was the whole point. I say you don't have to, obviously, but at the same time, it's better to answer the question now, and that way you can get feedback. And like I said, that way we can learn. It's way easier rather than you just contemplating it, saying no, and then just thinking about what you're gonna do to fix it, or saying yes, but then when I ask all three of the questions, it all makes sense. But that's why I'm just saying, these might be hard questions, but at the same time, you would be so much better off if you just answer them, like now. You see what I'm saying? So
Quentin has an answer.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people do. So I'm gonna get in Rose. Were you about to say something, or did you have an answer?
Answer your question.
Okay. So up to this point in your life, and like I said, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. The way these questions are, you're better off answering honestly in the beginning, because the way these questions are, you might look a little dumb if you don't answer honestly.
I'm sorry, it was funny.
Yeah, I just want to be 100% honest with y'all, so I don't mean to offend, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, truth needs to be known. And so, okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do, let me see, Trevor first, you next, Quentin, and then y'all can, all right. After him, y'all just raise your hand and whoever.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, Trevor, go ahead. So, let me read the question one more time. Up to this point in your life, after you heard what basically the job description of a follower of Christ, and obviously there's some things you have to know about Christ first before you can honestly say that you're following after Christ. But we know, like, some basic things that are the representative qualities of Christ, and so that's why I believe I can ask you guys this question now. And so up to this point in your life, would you call yourself a follower of Christ?
To be honest with you, no. And the reason is
would say the same. I would say no, because when you come into the knowledge of God, you know what's right from wrong. If you don't know, then it's evident that you're not a follower of Christ. But in all actuality, it's just being able to, of course, come into that knowledge of God and at the same time practice it, because it comes, by hearing again, the word of God.
Yes.
So that's pretty much what is the transition for right now. But
Alright, I'm gonna be real honest with y'all right now. Because of the fact that y'all said what y'all said after y'all said no, maybe I should have just said yes, no type of thing. Did you have a comment?
I don't know.
No, if you have a comment, awesome. Like, that's the whole point of the feedback. However, just give me a sec. The reason why I said that is because the next question, and this is why I told y'all, asked y'all to be honest. The next question was gonna be why do you say no? So I wouldn't have wanted y'all to be like yes or no, and then when I ask y'all are puzzled. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
so that's why I was like, it'd be better to answer.
Then we can answer one and then two while we're answering one.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that's the whole point of me saying the question. But I was just like, since they answered the way they did, I was like, y'all can just answer your answer, and then if you would explain why. So 1, 2.
Okay. If you would have asked me that a year ago, I would have said no. Being that you asked me now, I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm going to say maybe, because I'm trying to be like Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing myself to be like Christ. If I get off track, I get right back on track. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes, but I'm definitely trying.
I get you.
That's why.
And that's exactly why I said I can understand a maybe a little bit. It's in certain respects that a maybe will be allowed, because at the end of the day, it's either a yes or a no. But at the same time, like I said, it is a process, and so we're gonna work on getting you on one side or the other, because we don't want you to be too unsure. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I won't say I'm unsure. I'm just saying that.
But a maybe is an unsure or a yes or no, isn't it?
No, not in my mind. I say maybe because, like I said a year ago, I would have said no. I'm not a follower. I was doing all this stuff. I was drinking. I haven't said. I was doing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that now. You know what I mean? But
So can I say
may
this
slip
now?
up and cuss, and I'm like, oh, what? You know what I mean? I'm trying. Like, don't.
Can I say this then? How about we're gonna try to get you to the point where you can absolutely say yes. Would that be better?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
Okay. That's what I meant. But do you have a comment or are they?
I have a comment and
Okay.
and an answer.
Hold your answer, because Quinn's next. But comment.
Okay.
You can
No,
comment.
the comment is like a long one, but it's all right. I can wait till my turn.
Never mind. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
No, we're not gonna make it.
Okay.
We're not gonna make it.
All right.
Just go ahead.
And I hate to be the odd one, and I hate, go. But can I explain it in a different way? I would say yes, I'm a follower. And yes, the Bible says, for all the sin and fall short of His glory. We all sin. I mean, and I believe in His word. I believe everything that His word say. So therefore, I believe I'm a follower of Jesus. Am I perfect in my following? No, I'm not. But still, I'm a follower, because I'm trying to be just like Jesus Christ. So therefore, I'm a follower. I'm not perfect in while I'm following Christ, but I am following. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has more to.
Yeah, I hear you, and I
Amen.
got you. And I'm going to direct you directly to a verse. I think it was a verse. Yeah, it was a verse. Luke 6:40. A disciple is not above his teacher. But everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. So, as a follower, the key word it says when he is fully trained, or she is fully trained. When, I got you. She's first, you're second. Well, actually, Calvin, since he was already okay, she's first. I love your honesty. Luke, it says when he's fully trained. So as a follower, you are not there yet. Just automatically off the bat. You see what I'm saying? But you can be a follower and still be in training mode.
Right.
However, the difference is though, and this is the difference, because of the fact Because honestly, at the end of the day, and this is not to go against what you said, but if we don't want to make it like so open to the fact where you can just say, as long as I'm trying, I'm a follower. You see what I'm saying?
No, not like.
Yeah, we don't want to make it seem like as long as I'm trying, I'm a follower, or I'm still in the training process. No, you're either a follower or you're not a follower, but that just because you're a follower does not mean that you are just like Christ, because of the fact, if you look in the Bible, the disciples, they still slip. That's what you're about.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, the disciples were still slipping up. They still had a low faith. Some of them were still cussing. Like, whatchamacallit?
Like me.
Yeah, it was
Like
Peter.
me.
Peter, I believe that's the one who denied Christ 3 times, right? Yeah, he denied Christ 3 times. And people were coming up to him saying, hey, wait, aren't you one of Jesus' disciples? And he got so mad to the point where he started cursing at him and telling him to leave him alone.
Like,
Huh?
Doubting Tom.
Say who?
Doubting Thomas.
Oh, Doubting Tom.
Put his hand. I don't believe you. I mean, it's your Tom.
Oh, yeah, Doubting Tom. Really? Thomas. That was his name, right, Thomas?
Thomas.
20, he called him 20.
Big.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah,
They call
Thomas. Thomas told them when they told him that Jesus had come back. He said that
Until
I'm
I
not going to believe it until I touch, until I see it, basically, until I can touch the
hole in his
the
hand.
hole in his hand or whatever to see where the nail went through. And when Jesus finally saw him, he said,
Blessed are those who don't believe. Blessed are those
who see and believe, but more blessed are those.
Blessed are those who don't see and still believe.
Yeah, don't see and still believe.
Yeah.
Basically, because he was doubting. So, like I said, and in no way am I advocating, okay, since the disciple cussed, y'all is okay to cuss. And,
Nah, that ain't okay. I know
in
that
no way
problem.
say that. But all I'm saying is, yes, there is a process. It says when he is fully trained, he will be like his master. You see what I'm saying? However, there's still a dissension. There's still a difference between follow or not follow. So just saying that, because I'm trying, that doesn't automatically put you in, you see what I'm saying? I just don't want to be misleading with the things that are being said. Did that answer all questions, or it didn't? Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to change my answer
Okay.
because I was thinking about what he said. I feel everything he said, the camera got it, right? Everything he said that's exactly how I feel. But for you to say, at least I'm trying, I wasn't trying to say it in that way.
No, I know that's why I said I didn't. That's exactly. But you use those words. You use the word. I'm trying to get there, and I'm same here. One of my answers on here, I think, is I'm not there, but I see progress. And so, since you use that word when I made my when I said what I said, I just want to be specific to the fact where I wasn't trying to use you. That's why I said that before what I said.
Okay.
So yeah, but
Yeah, I changed my answer.
oh,
So it's not maybe anymore, it's a yes.
yeah, praise the Lord.
Yeah, amen.
We're gonna talk then. It's not bad.
No, not yet.
You have a comment?
Yes, I have a comment.
Of course you have a comment.
All right. This is
Camera tape.
what I believe. We're talking about this following thing, right?
Yes.
Now, is it okay if I challenge you?
Okay.
Okay. No, is it okay that I challenge you?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm about to challenge you in
All
5
right.
4 minutes.
You like
All right.
I'm gonna jump in.
Like the whole tomato thing. But all right. But, okay.
Stupid.
Okay. But for real, I think when you become a follower, you first become a follower when you accept Christ into your life. So I believe, this is what I believe. I believe everybody in here is a follower of Christ. Should I go more in depth?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. I believe everybody, if you're saved and you believe, who God, for who he really is, you're a follower of Christ.
Okay.
And then when you start applying his word to your life, you're still a follower. Now, I think someone that does not follow Christ is someone that just totally don't believe.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Pause.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Good. Great. Awesome. The reason why I'm using all those adjectives, those are adjectives, right?
Yeah.
I'm I'm pretty proficient in English. That is correct. And that goes straight back to the whole identifying and following thing. But you have to be careful. Not speaking specifically to you guys, but a lot of people, it's true. When when you have accepted Christ as your Lord and Savior, you've been saved. I believe you should be a follower at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You are a follower. However, that kind of goes back to, it's just like saying this. If I'm this, then I'm this. If I'm this, then I'm this. But you gotta make sure, you see what I'm saying? Like, if I'm one, then I'm two. If I'm A, then I'm B. If I'm B, then I'm C. But you have to know for a fact that you're B before you can say you're C. And you have to know for a fact that you're A before you can even start the process. You see what I'm saying? So if you're, if you're saved, you can say you're a Christian. If you're saved, you can say you're a follower. But before you can do all that, you have to know that you're saved.
Right.
So just because a lot of people, that kind of goes back to the whole identifying and following thing. A lot of people, go up to the altar, give their life to Christ, seems like every Sunday, and they do all these different things. However, you have to get to that point where you can honestly say that you are saved, or, before you can say, because at that time, you can say you're a follower, but you have to be this first. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be this, and you can't just think, sometimes there's a lot of times you can go up to people and ask them, are you saved? Are you really saved? Do you know that you're saved? You see what I'm saying? And they sometimes can't answer that question. And so it's like, that's where it comes into the play where, yes, if you're saved, you're a follower. However, you have to know that you have to be saved. It's not just some simple 1, 2, 3 thing. You have to be assured of this thing before you can put on. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so it's actually very simple. It's as simple as if I'm saved, I'm a follower. But you have to know that you're saved. And so, and once again, all this is for the fact of the matter that for you guys, as these questions come up, you'll know how to answer them, or whatever. And so, let's see, up to this point, why do you say that? And now the question is, this was my answer to the third question. Do you see evidence in your faith as described in Luke 6:40? Basically, are you becoming like your teacher? My answer was yes. I'm not there, but I see progress. Because it's asking us, up to this point, would you call yourself a follower? Why do you say that? And then, do you see evidence of your faith as described in 6:40? Luke 6:40, which says, a disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. So do you see evidence of that? Are you becoming like your teacher? Do you see evidence in your life to where you can say that I'm becoming like the person that I'm following? You see what I'm saying? And so my answer was, yes, I do see evidence. I'm not there yet, but I see progress. And basically I'll get, let's see, I guess technically this is a little personal. There are times in my life where, and this is my own conviction, we all have our own different convictions about different things. There's times in my life where I'll think to myself, okay, Zach, you could be meditating right now. You could be praying right now. When's the last time you honestly, worshiped God? You see what I'm saying? Like, there are times when I ask myself that question and I'll think to myself, you know what I'm saying? Is there, like, I'm supposed to be, imitating Christ. And I saw Christ praying to God at all times. You know what I'm saying? I saw Christ before the face of God all times. You see what I'm saying? Christ obviously knew the word because he was reciting it back to people like all the time in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He would say, is it not written so-and-so? Is it not written in the book of so-and-so? So there's times when I ask myself, man, I haven't meditated in a while, or I haven't, you know what I'm saying, read my Bible in a while, or I could be doing that versus what I'm doing right now. And I know what I'm doing right now. I'll tell you honestly. I'll be playing video games or whatever. Like just playing video games. And I know good and well, I'll just be thinking to myself, you know what? I could meditate. I'm gonna do it later. You know what I'm saying? Or I just do it when I come back. I can stay up late. And then I'll get back and I'll be bone tired. I'll just fall asleep. Like, it'll just be times when stuff like that happens. Or like, I just want to chill, you know what I'm saying? But I could be meditating. But, you know, I'm going to call my friend, I'm going to see what they're doing. And it's like I said, this is my own personal conviction. Or whatever. It's not to say that I'm a bad person because, you know, I didn't meditate 6 hours out of the day. Or, you know, every single time I got a chance to meditate, I didn't meditate. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, there are times when I could say, you know, I'll have a chance to, you know, become like my teacher and not take that opportunity is what I'm saying. And so therefore, like I said, I just want to be personal and give y'all my answer to the question, do I see evidence of my faith as described in 648 when I'm becoming like my teacher? Yes, I believe I am. I believe I'm not there yet, but I do see progress. And there were some things that I was battling with personally. Just like different types of temptations. And, you know, when to say this, when not to say this, should I do this? There was a situation to where I wasn't sure whether or not to basically to speak to somebody. Because of the fact of the way our relationship was, like the way me and a different person, like, you know how sometimes, like, you don't want to make things seem awkward because of the fact you know, like, the type of relationship you have with that other person? But at the same time, there's this poem, spoken word, Silence is Deadly, is what it was called. And I just thought about it, and I was like, you know, yeah, it might feel to me that it might be, like, a little bit awkward to speak to that person or to reach out to that person, but at the same time, silence is deadly. And if I have an opportunity to speak life into somebody and I don't do it, then I'm slowly killing them. It's just that easy, or whatever. I just, you know, I held out on that person. I had an opportunity to become like my teacher, and you know what I'm saying. But I let pride get in the way, or fear get in the way. Fear of, you know, the awkward moment, or fear of rejection, or my own pride, and I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying, they gonna speak to me first, I'm not gonna say nothing, like those type of things, or whatever. And so, I did reach out to that person. However, it was something keeping me back from doing it for a little while. And so, basically what I'm saying is, I just wanted to, like I said, get that off my chest as far as my answer to that question. Do I see evidence of becoming like my teacher? Yes, but I'm not there yet. I do see progress, however. So, yeah, that's the question. That's the last question. Do you see evidence of that in your own lives?
Yep, I see evidence of it. The reason why I say yes is because it's a process. It's a process. The Bible even says all men will fall short of the glory of God, which means we're all not going to be 100% like Christ was. We're all going to have those days where we'll fall short, we'll make a mistake, we'll slip up. But as long as we keep our eyes on that task of following Christ, we'll get there.
You think you could like share some times where you feel as though you were becoming like your teacher?
Yeah, honestly, like y'all wouldn't recognize it now, but for a long period of time, I had an anger issue when I was younger, like from the age of about, I'll say 13 up to about 18. I was constantly getting into fights. I was kicked out of school 6 times because I kept constantly getting into fights and I kept hurting people. And it was like I couldn't control my anger at all. And one thing that really I think contributed because I would go to church, but I wasn't really going to church to hear the word. I wasn't going to church to read the word. I was just going to church just to go. When I got into reading the word, when I got into following my father was a pastor. When I was his when I was his bearer, pretty much, I would carry his Bible to the pulpit. I'll carry all of his stuff to the pastor study. I have to sit with him while he would read his messages to me. Just sitting in those messages and stuff and listening to him read his words to me all the time, it kind of got me to say, wow, like I didn't know the Bible spoke about the things that I was going through there in the Bible. Like Moses, he didn't have much he had temperance. Like he had a bad anger problem too before he became the one that led the Israelites out of Pharaoh's hands. He had the same problem I had. And I just like, well, maybe I just read the word more. Maybe I get a better understanding how to control it.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I read it, the more I got the understanding of who Christ was and who God is. The more I got on the pathway of following him. Like they said, the path to Christ is what? A long, narrow way. So, and that's that. Where I am right now, yeah, I would say I have made a big turnaround, and I'm truly following Christ. I'm not there yet, but I am making progress in it.
I gotta say the same thing.
Bless you.
I would say yes, I have to be a follower of Christ. A follower of Christ because where I'm from, like people don't make it to the age that I am. Where I'm from, people die at 16, 17. I've seen it. Friends of mine gone, and to show that I'm here is the glory of God. To show that I've been through all these different schools, I've been through all these different things, but I'm still pursuing my education. I'm still pursuing, in pursuit of happiness. That's pretty much like that's what man is supposed to do, and follow Christ, of course. So I feel like I am seeing that.
You're seeing
evidence.
progress.
Because I made it this far, and it's because the glory of God.
All right. Anybody else? We're asking evidence that you can see in your life that you can say that you're becoming like your teacher.
Evidence. Like my brother.
You want to share? Okay.
After that,
Yeah.
Like my brother Quentin over here said, I used to have a real bad anger problem, and I used to, I remember in high school I used to cuss people out, and
I'm working on that.
You don't believe it, do you?
I'm working on it.
But
I'm working on that.
I used to have a real bad temper, and even like in my childhood, being molested, grew up with hurt in my life, and now I'm able to say that I can forgive, and I can let go of basically things don't pull me. I don't allow things to pull me down. When faced with certain situations, I know what I need to do, and I know what I got to. I look at where I was and where I am now, and then I even look at where God is getting ready to take me.
Okay. And your so your constant improvement is your evidence.
That was evidence. Yes.
Yeah.
Testimony.
Becoming like your teacher. Okay. Then coach is next. Ooh, we get to hear coaches speak. Haven't heard her speak all. Suck. All right.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, your first name.
Oh, okay.
We want you to be like, you scared me. I know you can say it.
I've been through a lot in my life. I mean, everybody has. I would say my evidence was I was always being prophesied to go around and talk to young girls that my testimony would be a healing to others. And I'm thinking to myself, like, at that time, I wasn't, like, my faith was, everything was going left. He was telling me to go right, I was going left. I wasn't paying no mind. And I'm like, what? You mean to tell me if I tell my business, that's going to help other people?
Right.
I'm not about to do that.
I know what you mean.
So one day, I'll be honest, I was in the club and something happened to me like a week before that. I was about to kill myself. And I went to go get help. And I was in this place for like a week. And I'm just sitting here like, I cannot believe I'm in this place. Like, I just cannot believe
Yeah, like, me wrong people.
you there to you're not there for no reason.
Yeah.
So after that, after I got over that situation, it was like everything was Jesus. Everything was Jesus. And I went to the club and I was in there and I was like, I told my friend, I was like, I don't feel right. Like I didn't feel like I needed to be there. That was not me anymore. And next thing I know, I'm going around and I'm telling people about my testimony and about what I've been through in my life, and people are coming back to me and they're like, you've been such a blessing to me, and I'm like, really? It's kind of like confirmation, like you said. So, and ever since I've been healing people with my testimony and doing all this stuff for Christ, my life's been brighter. Because like I said, everything is going left.
Yeah.
So that's evidence.
Kosher.
Yeah, I know kosher, but
Did you have a comment?
yeah, I had a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing about that is like the hardships and the things you go through.
Right.
God actually brings you to a place where you can look back over that and you say that was something that God made a way for me. And that makes you lean and depend on Him more than anything. Because if you look back on those situations where you used to be, and you look at yourself now, you be like, how was I even there?
Yeah.
That's the main question that'll come to you. How was I even there?
Situation, I would call my mother for everything. So I was like, Mom, this boy just pushed me. Do you know this? I've been domestic violence and everything, and I went through this, and my mom was like, you call me for everything. I call her first and then I pray. And now it's the opposite. You know what I mean? I was calling the wrong person. And she could not fix my problem. And when I realized that, I'm like, okay, who comes first? It was always my mom's my best friend. My mom does this.
I know exactly.
Calling everybody. Grandma, did you know she?
That is powerful right
And you have to learn it. I had to go through what I went through to get to where I am now. And now I'm like the happiest person. So
that sounds like the message from last time. You remember that God-sized void that we always try to fill with other people? When we have situations, we're always trying to this person, satisfied. It never. But you said
Coach talk, yeah.
I see that.
You got my wisdom.
I don't know. An angry thing must be run through the Christian community. I don't know. Because I have the same problem being angry and stuff like that. Drinking, trying to fit in, all of that. And back home, like I really couldn't fit in because I was like in a traditional church. And, like it was like just older people. And all like the younger people who got saved, they like, basically went back into the world. And so when I came here, I kind of fall off from what my mother taught me. I started doing flag football and stuff on the church, and then like I started seeing the church band come by, and I kind of got convicted. So I started going back to church and stuff. And then I started looking for a fellowship with the CFO, and I got in the CFO and it started being ministered to, and finally I got saved, and this has been growing since. Jumped into leadership. I don't think I had a choice because all leadership, people was leaving and stuff, and so I jumped in, and then I started as a tech person, and started moving up, and then finally I become president. And so God has been using me, and everything I'm saying, Brother Fred can testify. He was there basically through my whole time being
the pictures and everything.
yeah, the pictures tell the stories and everything. So God's been using me, and I feel like I've been following Him, and I'm still not perfect. I still got a long way to go. I don't read the Bible like I should. I don't reach out to people like I should. And sometimes when I see people, I'm quick to judge sometimes. And so I still got a long way to go. But every day I'm striving to be like Him.
Yeah.
Every day I'm striving. And it's a constant thing. And I can say The years I've been saved been the best years of my life. Been the best years of my life. And so I thank God for everything He's done for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely believe that.
In high school, I'm running with the wrong crowd. My cousin, my mom, and my stepdad, he had their on and off thing. And so finally, he left. And that's when I started hanging with my cousin. We ended up doing the smoking, doing the drinking thing. And then, after my senior year, that's when, all H broke loose. My cousin, he got killed in a car accident. And it was all over, some weed, and it was just, it was crazy for me. Yeah, it was crazy. And I started to pray about it because the way I was going, it wasn't good for me. So I started praying. And then my grades were bad in high school, and I ended up being accepted here, and I just been blessed, man. It's been a process for me, I don't do the things I used to do no more, and it's been.
So evidence is the improvement. Got you. But did you have anything to say, Trevor? Okay. Pastor Fred, you've been pretty quiet.
Take it all in. Take notes. Got 2 sheets of notes, and the book will be out next week. I'm just kidding. Just a comment I will make. I appreciate the tone where you're coming from, challenging us to be disciples of Christ. We live in a society there's a lot of cultural crises. You walk across a lot of HBCUs, students come from church. You start talking about Jesus, they know what you're talking about. You start talking about salvation, they know what you're talking about. And they can tell you how to be saved. They can talk to church lingo. Probably 50, 60, 70% of students here at this campus probably have had some type of religious experience, but they may not be walking with Christ right now. And so what Zach is calling us to is to walk out the faith that we profess. And the scripture says we have a form of godliness but deny the power thereof.
Yes.
And that's definitely what we want to avoid. 1 Timothy 3:5, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From what the Bible says, it says, from such turn away. People who are basically, they profess Christ, but there's nothing in their life that displays Christ. It's like, it brings no glory to God. And it turns people off. And it's telling, Timothy says, stay away from those folks. Paul says, stay away from those folks. And so, they're very unattractive. In fact, they stink in terms of representing God. And so I'm not putting people down. I'm just saying people who profess